Boom. Okay, and we back. Again, thank you listeners for tuning in to the Scenic Route. I'm your hip hop culture specialist, Gypsy Reign, and I got special guests. Like I promised y'all, I got more people connecting that was a part of this story, right? And so I'm excited. I've told y'all I was staying in Youngstown for a while. We on part 3 and part 4, but I'm gonna stay in the yo because that's what this is about. So I got here a special guest. His name is Dre Brown. He was the beatboxer I told y'all about when we didn't have music yet. Me and my cousin was writing these melodies and hooks. And like I said, Lady C was a genius at melodies. So we would take melodies from the commercials on TV and we reword them to our benefit, right? So I wanted to talk to Andre. I got many questions for him. How you
Okay.
doing?
I'm doing just fine. How you been?
I'm doing good. It's so good to see you and
Good to see
talk with
you as
you.
well.
So my first question is, do you remember your beatbox name?
I was hoping you wouldn't say that to me because I was telling my wife, and so I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna say. So I was like, I can't even remember my name.
I don't either.
Beatbox Master BeatMaster Dre. I think Lady C gave me that name.
I was gonna say
So
Lady C knows. She knows.
yeah, I think she called me Beatmaster Dre.
Okay.
So yeah.
And that's who you were because like we rehearsed, our rehearsal, like I told the listeners, was strict. And we did not play because we
Mhm.
had to go back to back. So there could be no flaws there. One person mess up the whole verse or the song or the melody is over with. You got to be on point. So, but I remember, do you have any memories of getting together with us? It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. I remember when we was in the garage one day. I remember when we was sitting up there waiting and watching Nickelodeon, as cartoon Sawing for Teens came on, and we used to do that little joke in school. So it was a long time ago,
Right.
back in 87, 88, 89.
Okay.
So, but yeah.
So yeah, so the garage, that must have been my garage, I assume. My mother and father worked at General Motors, so they was very
Hmm.
rarely home. And I just turned their house into a recording
Exactly.
slash dance studio slash uh come sit down and relax for the young people.
Exactly.
And so let me say first that the Hip Hop Declaration of Peace is just a document that my company has used for marketing. Um, to know more about it, all you guys got to do is, I'm talking to the listeners, is look it up. But the first principle of the Hip Hop Declaration of Peace states that hip hop is the name of our collective consciousness. It is commonly expressed through breaking, emceeing, graffiti, DJing, beatboxing, street fashion, street language, street knowledge, and street entrepreneurialism or street trade. So I'm going to zoom
Hmm.
in on the beatboxing and the relevant, um, how relevant it was. Because like I said, we didn't have instrumentals at the time.
No,
We
no,
had
not at all.
we had to have our beatboxers. So do you remember how you started beatboxing, where your passion came from?
The Fat Boys. When I heard the Fat Boys, and my parents owned a restaurant back in Ohio,
Mhm.
and I used to get a lot of the music and everything from Oasis up in Liberty or Mr. George's on the South Side, and we get the little 45s, and I get to put them on the jukebox myself. So I would
What was
put
the
certain
restaurant
things.
called though? What's that restaurant
Uh,
called? It was
The
famous.
pit,
I can't think
the
off the top of my
pit.
head.
It was the
What?
pit.
The Pit Barbecue
Yes.
over on 534 Fifth Avenue, across the street from Youngstown State University, home and originator of the wing ding. So don't get it twisted. Claire
The
Brown
pit,
made the
baby.
wing ding, and
Okay.
it's you can see it on a picture behind my father. It says wing ding, way back in the '70s, way before anybody was calling the wing ding the wing ding. So
Right.
yeah, but the Fat Boys and stuff, because his whole and when I heard it, I was doing it. So at the same time, my mother would, don't be doing that up in here around the people and stuff. You go scare them. And so I would do it
Right.
down the basement of the restaurant and everything like that. So that's where I got my beatboxing skills from was Buffy from the Fat Boys, and I would take a little bit of I can't think right now. Excuse
Okay.
me, COVID fog. What's
You s-
I can't think. What's the other dude's name and stuff? The beatbox and stuff who's still beatboxing to this day on 50 years of hip
Biz
hop.
Dougie
Markie.
Fresh. Dougie
Dougie
Fresh.
Fresh, Biz
Dougie Fresh.
Markie. I remember and stuff up at Stambaugh and stuff when Biz Markie and Roxanne Shante came, and it was
Mhm.
like a bunch of us standing around and beatboxing and everything. He was just going back and forth, beatboxing with a bunch of the kids and everything. So yeah,
Okay.
Bismarck, Dougie Fresh, Fat Boys. Yeah, so I got a lot of my plus, and mine was whole more bass than anything. It was myself, Jeff Harris, everybody doing the beatboxing and everything like that. So, but Jeff was more
Deron.
like a Deron, Rico. So
Mhm.
Deron, mine was more of a bass. Mine was like a bottom hit. Had a lot of bass to it. So
Right.
that's why a lot of them use me.
And that's why oh, wait a minute, you was working for others too? Look, not working, but
No,
was part of other
no,
crews?
walking home from school, and Rico and stuff. I remember he was going against somebody and stuff. I
Right.
think it was him and Duran. It was him and Duran was going against somebody else. I think it was Rico was going against Jeff Harris and stuff. And then that's when I did a little beat for Rico at a certain time. I still remember the rhyme he did. If you got an issue and don't cry, here's a piece of tissue. And that's
Right.
when I came in with that whole bass and everything like that. It was pretty tight.
Right, because
So
we used to do one-liners, and I don't know were you there at Mozzie's first big show, big venue? Because I remember Mozzie promoting this, okay,
Oh, you talking about at the Crandall Park?
when Lady C left school,
hmm
they came for me. They came for me. I don't know why. These two females wanted to battle me by my own little old self.
mm,
And I don't remember if we had beatbox that day. Do you remember that day when it was like 100 or 200 people?
I don't
Okay,
was it, if it was at Crandall, I don't
okay,
remember it.
okay,
They
yeah,
were
they came for me, and I
Rico,
remember
Ricky
Rico,
Miller, everybody, all of them down there.
yeah. But Ricky Mueller did promote it with you, Maz. Y'all was some big promoters. It was over 200 kids in the park, the top part of Crandall Park where the pavilion is off of Todd Lane. And I don't remember if that was before the Heavy D concert or not, because it probably was after, but
hmm
I say that because I was ready. I wasn't scared, but I did have to. My whole point of all of that though is we used to do one-liners. So I just hit them with one-liners at a time when that was it, just like you said with Rico. And it was quite the experience. I suppose that I won. I don't know, this kind of like a double team thing. But what I wanted to bring up was when Rico, he battled Greg Paramore, the two football players.
That,
And
That's
yeah,
that's
I
the
had
day.
talked
Yeah,
about it.
that was
that's
the
the
they
day.
was,
And so then Rico went at it with Greg Paramore and did his
yeah,
little
that's what it
one
was.
line. If
So
you
he
got
was
an issue, here, don't cry. Here's a piece of tissue. So yeah,
so
They
yeah,
was spitting in each
they
other's
were
face.
going at it.
yeah.
And because we didn't have any referees that time, we didn't have nobody to break it up. Because see, my them was cool on the promote, but when it got too much, they would fall back. So these
hmm
two was freestyling like pit bulls. And I say that because I need that for my movie aspect, right? They was rapping till their mouth was about touching. They start growling at each other like dogs. I'm sorry to say
Yeah.
it like that, but just for entertainment purposes, it got serious, right? And that's the heart that in the energy we see today, because the freestyle went down a whole nother lane, right? They got
Yes.
people getting sponsorship and everything from freestyle battles and underground fame, both male and female, in rings behind just
hmm
freestyling. Just that's
Hold up, but can I
yeah.
take it back though?
Mhm.
Freestyling, so all them competitions and all that stuff. If y'all take me back, tell me if I'm right or wrong. People said their best stuff. It wasn't no freestyling. You had a rhyme, and most times people wanted to hear that same rhyme you said. You know what I'm
hmm
saying? So you, oh man, say that
Yeah.
that
Do
baby
do
boy
that. Do
rhyme.
that.
Oh yeah,
Do that thing
you
you
want to
did
hear?
earlier today in school
Yeah,
or in
yeah, yeah,
class.
yeah. So
Yeah.
so that's what really you came with. Really, wasn't nobody expecting you to freestyle.
Not
People
in a
was expecting you
battle.
to come to the battle with your hardest shit. It
I
didn't
came
really
with the
care if you
arsenal.
wrote. deliver the hardest shit. And that's how, because I used to make people like freestyle. Yeah, people freestyle, but most of that shit was written or
Hmm.
already written. You know what I'm saying? You came with
Right.
your hardest
Hmm.
punchline or the one
Because
the
I
most supposed
remember
to leave you
one
rhyming.
where I used to say, me and Lady C, something like, something you don't want none, because dissing you is like chewing gum. I just put you in my mouth and swallow some. Then the crowd just go crazy just for that line. I mean, back then that was fire, I guess. That's the only one I remember. Dissing you is like chewing gum, and that's what it was, Maz. It was our arsenal. You're right. It was our
Hmm.
best stuff. And we came.
Exactly.
No rewards though. No money was behind that. Just street cred, I guess, right?
Yep.
And
Straight cred, and you get to school tomorrow or whatever in homeroom, and everybody talk about how dope it was and stuff with you whatever you spit. And yeah, it was pretty fun back then.
so Beatmaster
Man,
Dre,
great
do
time.
you did perform with us on stage one time? I do remember
Yes,
that.
I did. I
That
remember the little outfit I had on. I had on some fuchsia pink pants and the Popeye Adidas shirt where Popeye had first came out with the little chains and everything on. And so,
okay.
yeah, I
Okay, we
remember
gotta make
that.
sure we had that in fuchsia.
That
Okay.
was some, I got them from, what's that, Value City out there in, Boardman. And I was like, I ain't wearing these. My mother bought them, had them laying on the bed when I got home one day, and it had matched. I had washed them a couple of times, and it had matched the Popeye shirt. So I was like, okay, that looked pretty decent. So
Right. So we was out there stunting. Um,
exactly.
I remember that event. That event it was detrimental. And it was what happened was we came with our best stuff, of course. We came to win. And I forgot there was a show coming up that was a prize for winning this contest, but the recreation crew, and I gotta hit Deron Murphy up, of course.
Hmm.
Um, they came for the first time with music.
Mm.
And they did a mix that had Janet Jackson in it. Let me love you.
I,
No, Ready
I
for the
think
World.
because what was the name? It was Deron and Joint. I think he was a DJ, and he was the one who put that mix together.
Right.
So
Joint and Todd. Todd was
Uh,
yeah,
the LL
Todd,
Cool J vibe.
Todd, yeah, Alligator, yeah,
They came with music for the first time and our heart was broken. We were devastated. They clearly
yeah.
won that one. And I mean, they came with a mix kind of like Deigo. I
Hmm.
can't wait to talk to Deigo because them mixes and them outfits that the dancers wore, they I ain't never seen nothing like that to this day, except on Broadway. That
Yeah,
type of put production.
you got your boy Jabberwockies now. They remind me of
exactly. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
Dream
right.
back in the day. Hmm.
Right, real entertainment quality, and I was talking to Diego before about how the people who was running these events, and that's the names I'm looking for now. I'm doing some research on. Um, they had categories that we had to go off of to be the best, from
Hmm.
originality to presentation, your lip sync, your gimmick. It was 5 to 6, and that sharpened us up, and we had to come correct. It was no playing around with that, and I really appreciate that because that's how me and Maz got that Grammy plaque right there because we always came thorough. So our packages and stuff would stand out over others, right? Because the Grammys, that was in 2000 when I won that, but the Grammys still to this day, but definitely back then did not care much about rap music, let alone the hip hop.
Exactly,
But we'll talk
exactly.
later how we snuck up in that one. Yeah, got in there. We were chosen though, but it was really because the packaging was undeniable. Like obviously these people are professional. Let's pick this one. Boom. So I do really appreciate your time, Dre. Do you have a
No
big rap
problem.
for us here in 2024?
I'm just coming off of long COVID and stuff, but
Oh, gotta
uh
get some CMOS.
let me see. Yeah, yeah, I heard about that before too. So I just put some
Oh,
chapstick, so hopefully I won't
oh,
bust
that's
a lip or anything
CMOS
like that.
every
Right, but for
day.
the love and the name of hip hop, just a little something. Not trying to put you
A
on
little
the spot at
something. Okay,
all.
here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Old school. All right. That's it.
Well, we definitely appreciate it,
That's right. That's right.
and
You still holding it down. You
There you
still holding
go.
it down.
There you go. They're gonna dancer right there.
yes, yeah, he knows, he
You still
remembers.
holding it down, though. That's all good. You know what I'm saying?
man.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
How
right.
you been
Gotta
doing? You
represent.
doing all right? Diego,
Yes,
man, you all
sir.
right, bro?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah,
Good to
for
see you,
sure.
man. Good to see you,
Thank
bro.
you, man. Same here, man.
Oh shoot, man.
It's been a long time, brother. I ain't seen you in years.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I think the last reunion and stuff. I think where everybody was standing around waiting for you to do something, and you came to you
Yeah, he
came with it,
ain't
bro.
want to do it, but he had to.
He didn't want to, but he came with it, bro. He came
What?
with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's out there.
My wife was
I
like, "Get
got
up there
that
with
out
him."
there
I
on
was like,
YouTube.
I ain't as bad as him. Nah, I'm good. I got best dancer in high school. That was it. He's still doing his thing.
Oh, so they put you on the spot at a reunion, Diego? At a reunion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on the internet. It's on YouTube.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
I gotta check
Instagram
it
famous,
out.
he YouTube
Oh yeah.
famous. I saw it.
That's what's up. I
Yep.
didn't even know that.
Come on, man.
Man, Dre, man, it's nice seeing you too, brother, man. You know, God bless you, bro.
You as well, bro.
Sure.
God bless you as well, bro. God
For
bless you as
sure,
well,
man.
man. Good to see you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We
Okay.
have to get together and stuff. You dance. I'm gonna beatbox. Mauz, bring
Hey,
the
I
cigars.
I still break dance too.
I
I
got
still break.
somebody
and
putting
I'll
together
bring
a reunion for us.
I'll bring the wing dings so in the roll.
I can't pop lock like you know what I'm saying, Diego, but I hit a break move on him, you know what I'm saying?
I hear
That's
you.
all
I hear
good.
you, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, because I got somebody that called me that was interested in doing a reunion for this whole thing. So I'll finish that conversation with them, and we'll definitely be connecting again.
Okay.
Because,
Awesome.
they know how we did it, and they like we need to definitely put together a documentary. That's a whole nother thing, but definitely the reunion, and so that would be fun, right? Right?
That'd be definitely
All right,
that'd
cool.
definitely be fun.
So I know you got to get back to work. You can hang out a little bit more. I'm gonna move on. Here
Okay.
we got MauzDawg, and we got
It's all love,
Diego.
Dre.
Love you too, bro.
All
And
right.
we're going to
All right,
continue
now.
on.
Y'all take it easy now.
Yep.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you so much, Dre.
All right, anytime.
All right, y'all. We still rolling correctly.
Yeah.
And again, welcome to the Scenic Route. This is part 4. And I have MauzDawg, once was my manager. Also, hey, he was a great promoter back then, a radio host his own self. Tell a little bit about his story. And I got Diego, which I'm gonna begin with him. Diego, also known as Big Pop, also known as a leader from our city, is here. We want to talk to him a little bit about when he used to dance back then and any memories that he might have. So I guess it's better led off with, just a few questions to get you rolling, Diego.
Yeah.
Again, in the Declaration of Peace, we know that break dancing itself was definitely a part of our expression and our culture. So we still riding high on principle 1. And I want to thank you for being here as well. Your time is much precious. So do you remember what inspired you to be a dancer back then?
Well, I think really dancing just helped me just not stay out of trouble, basically. Different sides, going on different sides of town, going to different people's houses and just practicing. And we just came up and got together with doing a group thing, back then, like they had that quote unquote little gangs, what I'm saying? Bad boys, this and that and this, but then it turned into something totally different when the dancing scene hit the scene. You had Mixed Company, Ice, Bad Company, Breakwater Poppers, Craig Franklin. Now, who was them? What was their name? Do y'all anybody remember Craig Franklin? We know Craig.
Yeah, I remember Craig.
for
I
sure.
forget they group name though.
And the north side, the east side, south side, and we all just had these different things going up, man. And the schools start, what I'm saying, putting on talent shows. You had Miss Miller, That was the Black Culture Weekend lady. She started hooking the variety shows up for South High Variety Show. Then you had this, I forgot the lady name that used to run the one on the East Side, East High School. I got her name on the tip of my tongue, but I can't say it out right now. And
Okay.
then the North Side. And we just started doing that thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And it was fun.
It was.
It was
And
fun.
who used to, now one of the main elements of the dance was, of course, the mix and then the uniforms. So let's start with the mix. Who do you remember put your mixes together for you? And how did that process, how was that process? Because they,
You know what? That's a good question too. For real. Who used to do the mixes? Well, you know what?
it
I'm
was
gonna say Ja.
Old Money and Ross on the Cross was two of the DJs at that time. Did that any of those ring a bell? DJ Old
Not
Money?
for me. I think we did our own mixes. Ja used to do them mostly. Maurice Shelton, he used to do our own. He used to do our mixes. We didn't really have no DJ at the time doing. I didn't really know too many DJs back then. Tell you the honest God truth.
Okay,
You know what I'm
okay,
saying?
right.
So we all used to just get together and have two boxes together, play a tape and put the other tape in there, push record, send the music, stop it, take it back, wind it back with your finger, put it
Tell it,
back in, start it
tell it.
again. That was the mix back then.
That definitely was how I started producing and looping tracks. Because when Reckless Rico would battle, when we moved to the music phase, he definitely would come to my house and I would put that together using those double uh cassette decks. And
Yeah,
that was tedious. That was tedious.
right. But it worked
You worked.
until they came out with the with the tables and stuff like that. But back then we had to improvise.
Hmm.
But that's how it was, and that's how the mixes came across.
Okay, okay. And then moving just right into it, the uniforms, the color schemes. Where was the inspiration from?
Wow. We were just real creative back then and trying to put on a show, at that time. So um we got ours from just watching clowns, clowns and stuff like that. Just put on some makeup or watching karate flicks late night on TV and looking at their uniforms and copying them, basically. And
Mhm.
and we just that's what me and Jack came out when we first came out at South Five Variety Show, with our hands on fire. Um, we came out in all white and black. I don't know if you remember that or not.
I don't remember the hands on fire, but I thought it was
I
there.
remember it. I remember it.
Wow.
You know,
I
and we
remember it.
came out and we won that Joker that year too.
Hmm.
And it took off from that point on. All city variety show. I mean, everywhere. It just everybody was start getting into the dancing thing. It was just a sense of expression.
Hmm.
You was expressing yourself there, and the singers, everybody just started coming out the woodwork with this talent, and it
Hmm.
was
And as
real.
a dancer myself, we looked up to Diego. No, honestly, even when he's on the north side, I used to see them at the variety shows. He come up half painted face. They all got the matching outfits. As a young crew, we like that's how we gotta be when we come up. You know what I'm saying? We gotta be on point. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have everything because Diego and them already had set a path of how b-boy and dancing was supposed to be. And it wasn't just on their south side, it was east side, it was everywhere, it was all Youngstown. They set a
Right.
Right,
precedence on how it's supposed to be. You
Hmm.
know
right.
what I'm saying? So
Right.
yeah.
Definitely.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
We
Yes,
do.
sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
And also the part when you said kept us out of trouble, kept you out of trouble, kept all of
Yeah,
us out of trouble.
most
We
definitely
stayed
that.
busy. It took hours to get together and rehearse, especially after school or whatever was going on. And I just keep remembering how strict me and Lady C was with our scheduling. And like when we was rehearsing, we would cut the phones off. You know what I'm saying? Well, it wasn't no cell phones back then, but we wasn't, that's weird because we was connecting still with people, but we wouldn't allow the boys to call us, you know, hey, we rehearsing, don't call, you know, and that, yeah, that definitely can keep you on a better path, you know.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, we spend hours in the basements, hours
Practicing.
practicing and practicing and practicing. I mean, I used to get home 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. You know, my mom used to allow me to stay out. She knew where I was at, and she knew I wasn't in no trouble.
And that's the
You know
main
what I'm saying?
And so that's
And
why I definitely, like you said, Miss Miller, we got to get some other names because, you know, when we do the reunion, we definitely
yeah,
want to
Mr.
honor these
Brown.
people, their families. We're going to have to honor them in some kind of way, you know. And I guess that's going to bring me to discuss a little bit about what we see going on in Youngstown today. And it's been going on for a long time all over our country with the young men, the young Black males, not having those kind of outlets at all. And even when I'm in Decatur or Atlanta or wherever I'm at, I can see 6 or 7 of them walking together aimlessly with nothing to do at any given time. Because sports is not going to always save all of the youth. And so I don't really have a question there. Do you guys have any input on that? I know you guys have sons and children. Is it because that part of our community has been taken away? Not just that part, but let's just focus on what we represent. That has been taken out, like the music been taken out of schools, but you don't see that same thing going on today, right? Where they can show their talents and express themselves in a different way. How do y'all feel about that? Any input?
Well, it was a lot in that question you said
It's a
that
lot.
you asked. To some extent, I mean, what the first thing that came to my mind when you asked that question was, um, the big part of that is there's no fathers in the homes. That's what our children are missing. Our kids are missing men in their lives. But as far as stuff in the schools and things like that, there's things, you know, and I work in the school, you know, I work in the school now. So there's things and there's some opportunities for kids. But it still go back to, man, these kids missing dads and I always say, if even not the dad, you don't need a dad, you need a father figure, a male in your life. It makes a difference. And you can tell the difference in the ones that have it and the ones that don't. You know, but that's my simple answer on that.
Okay, that helped me kind of organize my question. So we didn't have dads either, did we?
But I had cousins that slapped the shit out of me if I was
Okay.
in the wrong place at the wrong time. I
Mhm.
had home dudes down the street who would check your little ass and tell you go take your ass home, even if
Mhm.
they was doing something they didn't allow us.
Yeah, but you also have people to inspire you. People used to be interested in the kids, and they don't have that today. You know, what they're interested in today is things that that uh that really, to me, don't really make no sense. Uh, to For our kids to look at life in a different way instead of how they using the industry. Period. You know, they using the industry. They bringing this too much street into the industry. You dig what I'm saying? So they don't have no guidance, no positive guidance
There we go.
from people that should be there. I'm gonna use myself. You know what I'm saying? Because even though I was in the street, I ain't let the street consume me to the point is where I couldn't breathe. It I wanted another outlet. You know what I'm saying? I was determined to have another outlet, even though I went down the wrong road by choice, but I still always had somebody pulling me over, pulling me, you know, and the kids don't got
We
that right
had.
now.
That's what I'm saying. It don't have to be your father. It's just a male figure. It was a cousin. It was somebody in the hood that said,
It was
"Nah,
a
little
mother,
nigga,
it
you
was a mother, it
yeah,
was a grandmother, it was a lot of us.
somebody, yeah, yeah,
It was structure. You know what I'm
yeah."
saying? It took the whole village. to bring you up out of what you was in to get you on the right road.
Yeah. We don't have villages anymore.
Right.
You know.
Right. I just wanted to pick y'all brain just a little bit. I go a little bit to the left and right to give content to our listeners. Again, if you tuning in on W Ground Radio, we appreciate you. But if you on that podcast, I just need you to leave your name there to answer the question after the podcast. Let me know you was there. Also go to InYoLap.biz. You can sign in there, leave your name, number, and a comment. We have monthly contests on that website, giving away gear and everything. So I just want to put that out there before we continue on. Okay, and so Mauz, I want to talk a little bit, since we on the young black male tip, just a little bit about, because like we had that childhood, but we still, as we got older, found ourselves in trouble, like you said, by choice and going down different paths, trying to keep up with whatever was expected of us, like especially when it was time to make money for ourselves. So Mauz, you've been through a lot too. You got a great story to tell about what you and I've been through, but before all that, you had a lot going on. So I just, on a positive note, when did you decide to go to college and turn your life around on an education tip?
Well, shit. When I went to college, my shit was good. It was shit. The young adult years that got a little sticky, trying to pay for college.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, that shit. That's really where my young adult years is where things got sticky for me. But this getting into. I went to college because shit. My mother always says I had to. That's what I'll be real shit. My mother's
Right.
like, you going to college? I ain't go. Your dad ain't nobody go. You going to college? Okay, whatever. And as a young man, shit. And honestly, growing up in Youngstown at that time, how shit was starting to go, I ain't really shit. I never really thought I'd live past 25, be dead or in jail like most people I knew anyway. So whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I went to college just maybe I can do something different, unlike everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So did that. But I couldn't pay, huh?
I was go ahead.
So I did that, but I went for communications because they said go for something you like to do, and I like music, but I really wasn't no rapper, singer, nothing like that. I just like music a lot, so I was like, well, closest thing is they got radio and communication,
Right.
so I go to school for communications. So that's what I did. I went to college for communications, and Akron has a really good radio station that competes even within the market. So it's just not like they just got a little college radio station. The college radio station that I learned under was actually a very, very good radio station that prepared me for when I was going to actually be working in commercial radio stations later on.
Right. That's what I wanted to get to, your choice of broadcasting and how we tied that in later on. In the beginning, I just remember seeing you just like I said on one of my memoirs, how it's hard to miss you in the room. You're very charismatic, and you just had that quality. And when we talked the other night, you were saying that it was my idea that you managed me. And
I was just about to say that. Yeah, because actually, yeah, I mean, again, I went to school for communications, and all our life, you've been doing hip hop from what I'm saying, Star Palace, whatever. I'd be doing my little break dancing, and we have our little crews, but we never really, it didn't really intertwine because you were still my little sister, and I was doing my thing, so we never really intertwined on that until later on, and you was like, look, dude, you know what I'm saying? You working at this radio station, you got all these connections. I'm trying to do this hip hop stuff. Why don't you manage me? And I'm like, manage you? What, I don't, huh? And really, that's how we started that whole discussion.
Right.
And I'm like, well, I guess I could take what I'm learning, because I was learning a lot on how hip hop and record labels and people use radio to get out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting letters and information from people every day. So I'm like, yeah, I could take that information, maybe help Candee. So let's do it.
Right,
And so
because
that's really how we started.
you were definitely excellent at it. And on part 3, I discussed the song "This Is For You," which I kind of leaked, to the future a little bit, and talked about how that was my first single on the radio, and how Akron, like you said, that station was a powerful station at the time. They programming and how they was opening up doors for independent artists, which all stations were at that time, was awesome, and able to get that song through. And I was telling them too the story about "This Is For You," and I've already said it, so they, the listeners have to go back to part 3 to catch that. But I talked about how we met the Hub Brothers, and how the Hub Brothers, we brought them an R. Kelly instrumental to play for us, because I actually had 3 shows coming up, right? I had Houdini. I was opening up for Houdini in Canton. I had the Cleveland Bicentennial, and I had Motown's Talent Search that they did as a marketing pitch. You put together all those shows, like,
right.
So I just,
So how that happened? It was, as I was broadening my broadcast career, I wasn't only working at 88.1, but I started working at 93.1 WZAK in Cleveland, Zappos Communications. So, and they was the hottest radio station in Cleveland at the time. So I started developing connections. So I got connections in Cleveland, Akron, you know what I'm saying, and in the music business, period, right now, because I'm working in the promotion department at that station as well. So I'm just developing relationships, and that's how I was able to connect you in, and that's how a young lady that I work with named Tanya introduced me to the Hub Brothers. And Tanya was making music, and Tanya was managing a group herself. And so we just used each other's resources. Tanya like, look, I know some producers. I'm looking for some producers for my sister. And so that's how we were connected with the Hub Brothers. Tanya connected me with them because they was all from Cleveland. So that was the Cleveland Connect.
Right. And so I wanted to repeat some of the stuff just in case the listeners didn't hear other parts, how the Hub Brothers was the pianist and drummer for Jodeci. So
yep.
This was Jodeci's musicians, and we were blessed, like you said, to meet them. So this instrumental that we took to, I'm gonna say D-Hub, because that was the pianist. We met him at his house in Cleveland, and he played the instrumental while sitting down at the piano, and he was listening to it, and he started playing with it, and he was explaining like, this chord is hard to follow. This chord is original. It's not even going off of the rules, And then he said, but guess what? And and me and Mauz like, what? He like, this is my uncle's song. This is my uncle's music. My uncle made this music.
No, this is R. Kelly. This is R. Kelly stuff.
No, his uncle.
That's what we was thinking. Like, no, this is R. Kelly.
His uncle was the music director, Deigo, for R. Kelly. So a song that I had, my dad had bought me a karaoke, like so late in life, but I appreciated it. And so this was the first time that I had smoked a blunt. And my friends came over, these 2 young ladies that I hung out with, they rolled a blunt or whatever. And so I would smoke the blunt, so now, my creative side is open. My criticalness is gone. And so they left me. So I just said, okay, I'm gonna play with my karaoke. And like y'all said, we was getting them 45s back then, but it wasn't that far back. I had cassette singles. And on the back of cassette singles, especially R. Kelly, he gonna hit you with the remix or the instrumental or both. And his remix was always a flip from the song. That's what made his music team so dope. The remixes would be a whole nother beat. So the Your Body's Calling remix, I took it and sped it up on the karaoke because they had a speed dial. So it was slow song. So I sped it up to give it a little hip hop vibe. And I started writing this poem to hip hop. And that's what This Is For You was for me. Because even then, I had no really intentions of where I was going with it. So in other words, I'm already giving homage. Like I'm already where I want to be with it because I'm living in the moment. So I'm just showing love to hip hop. I wrote a song, and threw in a couple artists' names in the song that I looked up to, you know what I'm saying? And I spoke about student loans and how we can't pay that back. So I myself had already been in and out of college by then. And So to me, I bring that up again because that was one of my magic moments, right? How did I take an instrumental one night just playing around and then ended up meeting the creator of that song? So let's just speed up the story again. So now we at D Hub's house. He said, "This is my uncle." He said my uncle is on his way right now from working with Mike Bolton. So he invited the guy over. And so the guy came over and he said, "Look, this is Reign. She wants to use your music, you know." And look, me and Mozzie wasn't there to ask permission to use the music. We already was using it, right? What we came to ask was, could you play this song for us in
Replay
these
it,
upcoming shows? Because Reign don't do samples no more. She on that live band
we
stuff.
need a band.
Right. We came through like funk because we was from the Midwest, and I started changing my mind about looping and sampling. I'm like,
We
I
want to
need
do shows
original
with
music.
bands. Yeah,
Right.
we want a band.
Wanted a band, and the band ended up being called Moment's Notice because it was a moment's notice that we had put them together. I think the Hub brothers came up with that name because they helped us get the sax player, and you know, we came in and we even did like a bar or something. Do you remember I
The
brought
club, yeah,
bar
yeah,
with
yeah,
them,
yeah.
kind of like a rehearsal? So so I had to perform the song in front of, I'm gonna call him Mr. Carl right now. This is R. Kelly's music director. And he sat down and turned on the TV. And so her brother was like, "Yo, Reign gonna do the song. Just check it out." So they turned on the instrumental, and I'm standing there on the side of him. He facing the couch. I mean, he facing the TV. And not one time did he look at me. He never gave me any accolades or anything. He just stared at the TV. I did my best poem. I wasn't there to get his permission from nothing. I already know who I am. I'm cool. You're not looking at me, sir, but I'm still going to use your song. So what's up, you know? So anyways, he get up and turn off the TV and leave. I was like, okay, you know, I didn't at that time experience much rejection. But anyway, I just wanted to share that in case people don't feel like going backwards to another part to hear this story, how I did rap and I was totally ignored, but he gave us permission to do it. It's his music, right? But what we learned that day, and this is the part I want to share with young people in music, is that Mr. Carl had made a song for R. Kelly and he sold it because he's getting paid for everything he's doing, right? He made a song for R. Kelly and then he ended up selling it to Michael Jackson. R. Kelly sold the song for millions, but bought it from Mr. Carl for like 25,000. So on that day, he didn't have any love for anybody using people's music. Like, get your own. Like, you know, and that's me starting to understand his standpoint that day. He wasn't feeling it. He wasn't feeling the music industry. He was upset at the decisions he had made because everything is business. And he did a lot of work with R. Kelly, but that's what I learned then. And that's when I knew, yeah, that's why I'm doing bands. That's why I wanted to have original music. And that was the moment when I started to look for producers who was making original music. Okay. That's what this portion of the Scenic Route is about. It's about the song This Is For You. It was a hit song. I remember talking to I think it was JP's cousin. Do you remember Bobby Johnson from Akron? It was JP cousin. He was so we friended this guy because he's like somebody we knew, and we believed that it was his cousin. But long story short, I was on the phone with him and I heard my song in the background. And I said, "What are you listening to?" He's like, "I'm listening to the radio." I'm like, "Well, that's my song on the radio." You know, so I got to experience hearing my own song out of the blue, out of nowhere, out of your work, MauzDawg. So I just wanted to give you that love and tell you I appreciate you. Got many more stories to tell, of course. And Deigo, I definitely appreciate you coming. And
Yeah, most definitely. I definitely want to add on to the aspect of the dancing scene and people that played a positive part in that at that time.
yes,
Y'all remember Ron Daniels used to have the show on TV
yes,
that had a lot of dancers come on and you know get looked at. You know, we ain't go nowhere, but you came on at 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock. And then, you know, I did have an experience with the Baby Brother Band. We made the video with the Baby Brother Band and things that nature and their music. And I wanted to recant something. They did make a mixtape for us, Baby Brother Band, but that was later on when things really started popping off. you know, at
Mhm.
that time, because the Baby Brother band was the first one to really start putting out videos. We
Okay.
made our first video up in Warren, up at the mall.
Mhm.
You know, I don't know if you ever seen that or not.
I think I did because I seen it on the Ron Daniels show, right? Is that where they played it? I
Um,
remember seeing it.
I don't. You know what? I'm gonna get it up. As soon as I can get it up, I'm gonna send it to you. You
Okay.
know, for you can at least have that much of it. And to be honest with you, like a couple of years ago, I had reached out to the news place to see that they have any old tapings of the Ron Daniels show, because I wanted to obtain some of that and you know, and rehash some memories that people may want to see, you know, because after Ron Daniels, there wasn't nothing else.
Right. There
And
wasn't.
and this is what and this is what happened. See, rapping, even when you rapping or singing, that don't fade away. But dancing don't fade away either. But people fade away and don't keep it going.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And but now it's coming back on the scene. It's like a full circle.
Mhm.
So what you saying about we gonna get together and have a reunion and things of that nature? That'll be good. That'll be great. But also it'd be nice to have a variety show with old school and new school.
Ooh,
You know, that'd be
ooh.
great. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? It's a lot of ideas that we can put out there on the table that we
Right.
could probably get together and do. There would be something positive.
Mhm.
That'd be
Definitely.
good. That'd be good.
Definitely. I know that we have some sponsors and some people who are interested in that. And that's why this conversation is beginning, because that's one of the things I want us all to take from this is that what you said, the people fell back. We lack the knowledge that we have the power to decide what's next. We do. And we've been
Right.
doing it for centuries just as melanated people. But we really, like I said, the history is written by the winners. Here we are writing this story down ourselves. It's going to be written. It's going to be remembered just how we wanted it told. Um, and it's good to reach back to these companies because they are holding that stuff. And you know what they do when you pass away, they're going to run it back. They're going to dig back and find it, you know.
Right. They dig back
So
in the archives.
right,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
you
saying?
see it on the
So
news that you ever see that when you see a celebrity they passed or whatever, and you see all this footage, even a Malcolm X, you'd be like, who was standing there when Malcolm X was put with the gun looking out the window? Who took
you
that
know,
picture?
Yeah.
Come on
Yeah.
now.
so that's what really need to be done. And if Mars or you or
Mhm.
me or whoever can reach out to the Newswise channel. I don't know if it was 21 or 27 at the time, to
Mhm.
see can you get some of that good footage, you know what I'm
Mm.
saying,
Mhm.
and get it sent over to you on your laptop or something like that, for you can put that on out there for people can see, you know,
Yeah.
that it wasn't all bad then and it ain't all bad now, you
Right.
know, but it can still grow. You know what I'm saying? We still growing. People need to see how far them came and how far we can go with it outside of fighting and bickering and killing each other. Because that's
Mhm.
exactly what's going on today. The dancing and the rapping and the singing is killing. It's
Mhm.
ending up people dying.
Mhm. That's the only
Yeah.
energy they got behind it. I agree with that. And we can also get in touch with Sundiata Daniels, which is Ron Daniels' son, and see
Right.
if we got some of that stuff at home in the crate
Exactly.
somewhere.
Can
And
you reach out to him?
that's what we're going to do. I'm writing down notes right now so we can try to, put that together,
Right.
Right,
Right.
right. So this conversation is definitely ongoing and just beginning. And so I definitely appreciate both y'all time today here on the
No
Scenic
doubt.
Route. I want to
It's
make
been
the
a pleasure.
content good. I want to put the platform together so we all telling our story. So before we end, I do want to give my accolades to Deigo because, and I'm getting the chills because you was the first this season to call me when you got that premonition to call me a couple months ago. And
Yeah.
you said Reign, and people don't know what people going through. We be having dark times. And when somebody and something is falls on your heart or your spirit or whatever word play you want to use to call out to somebody, be sure to do it because he did it out the blue. And I remember when Mozzie used to do it a lot, unbeknownst to him, throughout my whole life, there would be days where my brother would call me that would lift me right up out the gutter. He would just call me. And then this was probably, I moved to Atlanta several times, but these were times when I was in debate, like I need to leave or something. And my brother would just call, I'm just checking up on you, see what you, and he don't know that one phone call would get me up and going. He didn't even know. And I would hang up like, and I would feel like, yeah, my path is calling me. It's, it's reaching me. And it's big. So when you did that, Deigo, you pulled me out and you sat me down in your phone call and you talked to me about what you saw in me. And
Right.
just like young men don't have that, young women don't either. We don't
Yeah.
have nobody saying, this is what I see in you. And I see that great, especially in what we call queen, and I don't like that word anymore. It's a lot behind queen, but that's okay. In young queens, we don't have it either. And when you did that, you was the first motion to get me going here on this storytelling. And you was like, you need to tell this, you need to do that. You were very constructive. You called me as like an elder. We're not far in age, but you called me like an elder. You let me know, and you need to get that together. And you need to use what you have today. And he understood the haterism and how my city, and I got to generalize it, and I got to get off my chest. And if y'all listening from my city and you feel different, then put the comment down there. What's wrong with good shit? Y'all don't like it. Y'all want to follow, Mozzie. Y'all want to follow the horse, and you want to follow stuff that is not productive and doesn't represent our city well. Our city has been represented all across the country, promise you, in the most negative of ways, to the point where you don't want to even go in any label and say you're from Youngstown because you don't know what damages we done already did before you got there. So we got to be careful, but we have to change this narrative now. And it's our responsibility, you know what I mean? Because they, like I said, I was giving back young because that's what they taught me. Those people was giving back to us. They was giving us a whole platform. They grown. They don't get up there and get the claps. We was getting the claps, but they was setting it up for us. And so I quit, I've been doing that a long time. And that's why my mission is not the mission that people think they want. I was never doing this to become some great rapper, to sign with some great label and do all the things you got to do to conform to that. That was never me. And so I think a lot of the people that I work with or planned to work with look at that and they don't see the success unless I tell the story. That was not my path. My path was independence, but not only that, because when me and Mozzie was coming up, Deigo, they was showing us, the industries was showing us, you got to come with everything. You no longer can just do a flip and spin around and put on a nice outfit. You're going to need your business license. You're going to need your stuff copywritten. We don't want no
packages, your promotion, right?
Right. That's when we was coming up. You know what I'm saying? And so another reason we
Well, you know what?
police department.
What it is though, it's about when it comes to you, you stand on more truth than anything. You dig what I'm saying? And so when you stand on truth, you have a lot of that enemy flee from truth because they don't understand it. They rather take the back door instead of the front door. And see, you taking the front door and you hitting it head on. So they shy from that. You hear what I'm saying? But you got to keep moving through the front door to get where you need to go. So you all right. You in the good movement. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody else got to figure that shit out. Not you. They do.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I appreciate
Yeah.
that, but I wanted to give you that love right here in history on this document we putting together. And thank you for taking the time to call me.
Yeah. Thank you.
And then again, Moz,
Thank you.
you're welcome. And when you and Knox got on there, I was literally on the edge of my bed in the midst of the most horrifying flu anybody want to have this season. And it was 3 in the morning, and I'm like, I got to get up and, get myself together because you can't sleep, because we have these strands of the flu that are hard to fight right now. But I wasn't feeling well, right? So then I grabbed my phone because that's just our habits now. And I go through there and I see your message and I'm like, oh, they went live. And so I'm looking at it and they're like 50 years of hip hop, you know, and Mars always shining. He got his Cadillac behind him, which I want to talk about that in a couple scenes ahead. We're gonna talk about your Cadillac and how it's been in a lot of videos and how hip hop is still alive today because they call you to use your Cadillac on some very, you know, on some serious scenes here in Atlanta. So I want to talk about that in the future. But you know, when you and
we just wanted to let you know. I mean, not to cut you off. I'm sorry, but
that's okay.
we just got on live. I've been talking to Knox, for a while now. You know about all this hip hop celebrations, the 50 years of hip hop, 50 years of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Also, shoot, we at the age that listen. No, I always say we got more years behind us than we got in front of us, and if we don't tell our story, who will?
Mhm.
And I just had to do something before the year ended to say, like, I'm gonna tell the part of the story that I know. Like, I ain't no historian. I don't even remember some of my story. But what I do remember is Candee Reign was big in hip hop from the time I remember she was in middle school throughout. And I seen her open up doors for folks, that did even more. If you look at it, on the record than her in this hip hop game, and they used to open up for her and dance for her, and all kinds of stuff. But
Mhm.
I just said, listen, man, if we don't tell our story, who will? I'm big into that anyway. We all need to write a book because Deigo, we from Youngstown,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it was great, but it also made us some real folks. Like if you was able to, if you're able to make it up out of there, then you can make it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You've been through some
Mhm.
things. You
Mhm.
know what
Right.
I'm saying? You've been through some. So I just said, listen, we got to give her some love, because you did have some type of a big impact, and I seen it firsthand.
Me
Um,
too.
and so that's what it was all about. And so I'm glad we was able to, just have you feel a little better that day because shoot, you made us feel a lot better a whole lot of days.
All
That's
right.
right.
Appreciate y'all so much. And so we're gonna chop it down again in the future, but we're gonna end this right now. And
All right.
love both of y'all. And we're gonna
Love.
talk again, right?
That's
No
right.
doubt.
All right. So everybody listening to the Scenic Route, appreciate you listening in. Tell a friend, share the link, and help us tell a story. If you know anybody with a hip hop story, definitely hit us up. Find us. You can email us at InYoLap@gmail.com, INYOLAP@gmail.com. You want to say something, anybody, before we leave out?
Peace.
Good.
Peace.
All right. Peace.
Love.